You rehearsed the proposal 3 times, but never once practiced saying sorry. You spent months planning the wedding, the flowers, the venue, the dress. You thought about how that day would feel for years. But no one told you that what you bring into the marriage matters more than what you bring to the altar. And most people don't find that out until it's too late. That's not a romance problem. That's a formation problem. Here's what's actually going on. Most of us enter relationships hoping the right person will heal the wrong patterns. But marriage doesn't fix you. It reveals you. And whatever you've been quietly carrying, the habits, the walls, the reactions, they follow you right through that door. Proverbs 4:23 says, "To guard your heart above everything else, because everything you do flows from it." Everything. Not just your prayers, not just your worship, your reactions, your silence, your need to be right. All of it flows from what's living inside you. So before we talk about finding the right person, we have to talk about becoming one. Let's break this down. The first one is this: the habit of avoiding hard conversations. You've been doing it for years. Someone says something that hurts, and you go quiet. You smile. You say, "I'm fine." You convince yourself you're keeping the peace. But silence isn't peace. It's pressure with a lid on it. In marriage, every avoided conversation becomes a wall. And walls don't dissolve with time, they get higher. Matthew 5:23 says, "If you remember your brother has something against you, leave your offering and go be reconciled first." God interrupts worship to address unresolved conflict. That tells you something about how seriously He takes what we bury. You can look like a peaceful person, but actually be someone who has never learned to speak truth with love. And here's the next part: the habit of needing to win every argument, every disagreement. Something in you needs to come out on top. Maybe you were raised in a house where being wrong meant something dangerous. Maybe it just became your way of protecting yourself. Either way, you carry that into a marriage, and the person on the other side stops feeling like a partner and starts feeling like an opponent. James 1:19 says, "Be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger." That's not a personality type, that's a discipline. And if you haven't been practicing it before marriage, you will not suddenly find it the morning after the honeymoon. Then there's this: the habit of emotional withdrawal. You don't yell. You disappear. Physically present, emotionally gone. You know how to shut the door without moving your feet. This one is quiet. It doesn't look like a problem from the outside. But ask anyone who has been on the receiving end of a partner who won't let them in. It is one of the loneliest places in the world. God did not design marriage to be a place where two people are close in distance, but sealed off in spirit. Genesis 2:24 says the two become one. Not two people living parallel lives in the same house. But it doesn't stop there. The habit of comparison. Social media has turned this into something almost automatic. You see how someone else's relationship looks, and something in you quietly measures yours. Or you compare your partner to who you thought they'd be, or worse, to who they used to be. Comparison is a quiet way of telling God His design isn't enough. It robs you of presence, and you cannot be fully present in a marriage if half of you is always measuring somewhere else. The habit of unresolved bitterness. This is the one people bring most carefully disguised. You've forgiven people, technically. You said the words, but something still flinches when their name comes up. Something still carries it. Ephesians 4:31 says, to get rid of all bitterness, all of it, not manage it, not bury it deeper. Get rid of it, because bitterness in your heart doesn't stay contained to the person it started with. It leaks into your marriage, into how you interpret your spouse's motives, into how quickly you assume the worst. Sit with that for a second. The last one is this: the habit of performing spiritual life instead of actually living it. You know the language. You post the verses. You show up on Sunday. But alone in the silence, before anyone is watching, your relationship with God is surface level. You know about Him more than you know Him. This one is the most dangerous to bring into a marriage, because spiritual leadership requires depth, real depth, the kind that doesn't collapse under pressure, the kind that stays steady when life gets hard. And life in marriage will get hard. Jesus said in John 15:5 that apart from Him, you can do nothing. Not a little, nothing. A marriage built on performance spirituality will have nothing to draw from when the real tests come. Here's what this looks like this week. Pick one of these habits, the one you felt most. Not the one that sounds the least convincing, the one that hit. Then take it to God before you take it into any relationship. Spend time in honest prayer about that specific pattern, not a general confession, a specific one. Name it. Ask Him to begin the work in you that only He can do. And if you're already in a marriage where one of these is active, talk to your spouse. Not to be right, not to defend yourself, just to say, I see this in me, and I want to change it. That conversation alone is the beginning of something. So if you take one thing from this, what you bring into a marriage matters more than what you build after it. Guard your heart. Do the work now. Proverbs 4:23 isn't just a verse about spiritual hygiene. It's a warning about what runs everything, including your closest relationships. This is faith applied, and we exist to help believers close the gap between what they believe and how they actually live. If this video reaches you somewhere honest, subscribe so the next one does too. Like it so someone else finds it when they need it. And leave a comment below, not just any comment, but this one. I'm working on the better version of me. That declaration matters. Even typed, even quiet. You are not the sum of every broken pattern you were handed. You are someone God is actively forming. And the work you do on yourself today is a gift to whoever shares your life tomorrow.